Sheriff's Office K9. If anybody's inside, speak out now, you will get bit. You didn't see anybody run through here at all? No running, nobody running through here?
The footage you are watching was captured during a manhunt for an active shooter. While the manhunt was ongoing, residents and business owners in the area were told to stay inside and lock their doors, and local schools entered a state of lockdown.
Sheriff's Office, anybody in there, come out right now. And I'll send him that boat.
The cause for this manhunt was a shooting that occurred just moments earlier in a quiet neighborhood in
Should read up on the Vince McMahon stuff coming out. What?
Otis, New York. When police interviewed the resident who lived directly next door to the shooting, they were able to gain insight into the moments leading up to the call. As Tiffany Thayer was grabbing some gummy bears for her 2-year-old, Tiffany took a peek out of her kitchen window and
Why'd you have to do her dirty? Why'd you have to do her dirty with this editing, man? What is that?
saw her neighbor Josh Niles leaning against his truck. He was having a fervent conversation with someone Tiffany was unfamiliar with. In this exact moment, Josh's girlfriend Amber Washburn was pulling into the driveway. As Tiffany reached for the gummy bears, she heard loud gunshots. That jolted her back to the kitchen window. Now Josh
That's such a funny
was gripping
edit,
his
man.
chest and falling to the ground, while Amber put her vehicle in reverse as an attempt to escape the shooter. However, as Amber passed the shooter, he turned and shot her directly in the head, killing her instantly. The car, which was no longer being operated, but was still in reverse, ended up in another neighbor's driveway across the street.
Dude, that would be so fucking terrifying to see. Holy shit.
As this happened, Josh was injured but still alive. Tiffany could
shit.
hear him calling out in anguish as he watched Amber be executed. This was followed by more gunshots. Then, silence.
Ow. Oh. Whew.
The end result was a gruesome crime scene. The most shocking discovery that police made upon arrival was in the backseat of that same vehicle, Amber and Josh's 4-year-old son.
No! Why? Oh, dear God. Oh, Jesus. Why? Fuck, I didn't click on the goddamn child video. I made sure not to watch the one that had to do with the child, and then this shit? Come on. I was avoiding this shit today, man.
Alive, but seemingly in a state of shock as he held on tight to his 4-piece chicken nuggets. As the manhunt continued, multiple witnesses let the police know that they had seen the shooter sprint away through backyards.
Not
he was
this
wearing
Nuggies,
a black
man.
sweatshirt and a green hat. The manhunt pushed through the night, but to no avail. The little success that they did have was in finding some potential evidence. A black Under Armour ski mask, which was taken to the lab for analysis. Video recordings from home surveillance systems were obtained, which made that mask all the more relevant.
He lives? Wait, you guys didn't obviously he's alive, guys. What do you mean? That's what I'm saying. It's fucking sad. This 4-year-old child saw his mom get nuked. Yeah, he's alive. I assume the worst. I mean, this is just as bad. Like, fuck, he's just witnessed his parents die.
These snapshots displayed a masked figure roaming the streets just moments before the shooting. Not only did this person match the description that witnesses gave, but they were also headed in the direction of Josh and Amber's home. The question became more relevant than ever. Who could have done this, and why?
It has been 2 days since someone shot and killed a young Sodas couple, and no one's been arrested.
Investigators say the shooter intentionally targeted 28-year-old Joshua Niles and 24-year-old Amber Washburn, but they did not say why. Tonight, friends gathered outside their home to mourn. Ashley Edlund was there.
Tonight, these candles and flowers line the sidewalk in front of Josh and Amber's home.
Jealous
Friends, family, and
ex-lover?
neighbors
Yeah,
brought
most
them out
likely.
tonight
That's
to
normally
honor
what it is
their
with
memories.
these things.
Whoever did it has now made it to where my kids grow up with that. And that's nothing a kid should ever have to do. It's not something that you ever want to find out. The most I have to say to y'all is justice needs to be served. My kids need that closure.
This is Charlene Childers. About a decade earlier, Josh and Charlene had 2 children, Gabby and Bentley Niles. When detectives spoke with Charlene over the phone, she seemed to have a slew of complaints about Josh's behavior during their past relationship, including that he would sometimes have violent outbursts. These violent outbursts led to Charlene frequently calling 911, and after Charlene accused Josh of trying to choke her, Josh was arrested and charged with unlawful imprisonment. He ultimately pled guilty to these charges. The constant discourse between the two resulted in a separation, and they were forced to reach a custody agreement. The agreement allowed Josh to take care of the children during the summer months. As Josh moved on to his new girlfriend, Amber, Charlene had met and married a man named Tim Dean. The two had worked together at the Dumas, Texas Police Department.
I'm sorry, bro. That's like the exact name I predicted in my head. Am I crazy?
For months. As Josh moved on to his new girlfriend, Amber, Charlene...
Like, that's the exact name. I predicted this guy. Like, in my head, I'm gonna think this guy's name's gonna be like Jimmy Dean or something. Jim Dean, right? And
Charlene had met and married a man named Tim Dean.
Tim Dean,
two had worked together at the Dumas, Texas Police Department. Charlene as an animal control officer and Tim as a sergeant. This was before he began working as the chief of police for Sunray Police Department. Tim also had his own 3-year-old daughter from a previous marriage who lived with him and Charlene at the time. Soon after their wedding, Tim's charming qualities were overshadowed by a darker side. His ill behavior came to a climax when he physically abused his daughter, slapping her in the face. Little did he know, Charlene had recorded this incident and posted it on Facebook. Charlene's friends quickly notified the police, and an investigation was launched. A few days later, Dean was charged with felony child abuse, and when Josh found out that his children were living under the same roof as a child abuser, he immediately filed for custody. This was quickly granted, and Charlene was no longer allowed to watch over her children. At this point, Charlene made the decision to divorce Tim in order to regain joint custody of her children. This happened just months before the shooting. The tension between Josh, Charlene, and Tim stood out to the investigators, and they now believed that they had their 2 main persons of interest. Phone records made Charlene easy to rule out, since her first phone call with detectives placed her in Texas immediately after the shooting. This was about 1,600 miles and a 24-hour drive away. That brings us to Tim. Theoretically, it would make more sense for Tim to be the shooter. Charlene was leaving him to regain custody of her children. But if Josh and Amber were dead, I think it's the girl. May have had no choice but to give them back to Charlene.
I think it's her. She wanted her kids back, and Josh probably wanted to keep them. And she
potentially saving the marriage. However, in order to substantiate this theory, it was crucial for the investigators to figure out Tim's whereabouts leading up to the murders. After obtaining a warrant for Tim's phone records, they discovered that 2 days before the murders, he was not home in Texas, but he had actually placed a 911 call 400 miles away in Emporia, Kansas. The reason for the call was that Tim had wrecked his car and was sitting in a ditch on the side of a country road. What you are about to see is the body cam footage from this incident, recorded by Deputy Corey Nicolette of the Lyon County's Sheriff's Office.
What happened? Well, try to turn around. Okay, I got your license and paperwork for this thing.
Tried to turn around.
It's a gun rental car.
Mm-hmm. Got your rental agreement? Yeah. You want to jump in here with me real quick? Okay, jump in the front passenger seat.
Tim proceeded to tell the officer that he had attempted and failed a U-turn while looking for a gas station, which only resulted in getting stuck.
And you tried to turn around?
I tried to turn around right here, and it...
So you just made a big flip around?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really do that around here, as you see why.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I was just driving. My whole life has kind of gone lately.
Oh, he's just...
More or less living out of my car.
But you had money to get a rental?
Yeah, I still work. Just off this weekend.
You didn't want to take your car?
My car started acting up on it.
Oh. So you're just driving around Kansas from Texas, huh?
Yeah.
So where's your wife?
She's at home.
I thought you said you didn't have a home.
Wait, hold up. Huh?
Well, we have a pending divorce and all that fun stuff. Yeah, that's mine.
Pending divorce, huh? Is that why you're out driving around instead of at home?
Yes, sir. That bad, huh? Yeah, like I said, it's all gone. So where are you gonna go? Well, I've got a family friend that I was gonna go see, but 422. Where's that at? That's all the way up in New York. Who's Bowler Brown? He's a buddy of mine.
Bowler Brown.
Yeah, that's gonna...
Tim Dean and Bowler Brown. Dude, what are these names? These aren't names. These aren't real names, man. Yeah, my name's Tim Dean. I can go hang out with Bowler Brown. Like, no, I refuse.
Don't cause you more problems than anything.
I know. I refuse.
So he rented the car for you? Yeah, because I was stuck
Yeah,
at
these
work.
are cartoon character names.
I'm not looking forward to that phone call.
He'd have had a better day had it been normal.
The agencies involved in Josh and Amber's case were able to obtain this footage from Deputy Nicolette's body cam, but they still weren't done building their timeline. Now part of the investigation, Nicolette backtracked to where Tim had gone after the encounter on the side of the road, K&S East Side Service Center. The crew there had helped Tim unload his belongings from the wrecked rental car and were willing to give their perspective to the police.
Thanks for coming in on your day off. You're welcome. Appreciate it.
The tote, when I opened it up, it was magazines with ammo and a...
Big magazines or little magazines?
Wait, was it both of them?
A AR style, like miniature rifle. That's when I saw the shotgun under the tote, grabbed the shotgun, and I saw a sport vest. And,
with pouches or something?
I don't remember if there's pouches, but it
Dude, is he like going full Rambo mode here? Like, what is all this shit?
was all black.
Did he come in the shop?
Yeah.
Dude, Ezra is still like, he's been like this for a week. Like he like refuses to eat much. He'll just eat like little bits and pieces of stuff. He won't eat anything. He's still sick.
We should have video of him in the shop.
Do you?
And you should have
We got camera right there.
When Tim was done unloading his arsenal from the rental car, he then called an Uber. The police then also followed up with the driver at her day job.
You know, he warned me. He goes, "It's a shotgun. Is that a problem?" I said, "Is it loaded?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, then that's fine." I don't, I'm not scared of guns.
And that's the last you saw him was with Motel 6?
The last I saw him.
Okay.
Why would you? I feel like everyone should be scared of guns. What do you mean?
She then dropped Tim off at a local Motel 6. Deputy Nicolette presumed Tim had...
It's always the Motel 6s, man. This is where the shadiest shit happens. Is Motel 6, man.
rented another car after staying the night at the Motel 6. So he went to the local enterprise to chat with the employees there.
So you know who I'm talking about?
I have an idea, yeah. He walked in, and then I told him that he couldn't rent because he just had cash on him. And he was really upset about that, and he just left.
While Tim wasn't successful with this rental car agency, that didn't stop him from going to others nearby. He was somehow able to rent a car from the airport, and the vehicle he borrowed can be seen in these surveillance photos headed in the direction of upstate New York. At this point, law enforcement was satisfied with the amount of evidence that they had against Tim, and so they finally decided to confront him and arrest him. They placed explosives on his front door and blew it away. Tim
Whoa, holy shit!
soon came walking out with his hands up and was apprehended. They brought Tim down to the station for questioning.
Couldn't they just knock on the door? I mean, I guess if he said no, you know, I don't know.
The first thing that they wanted to know was how well Tim knew Josh and Amber.
Had you ever met him in person?
I'd been there when he'd come to get the kids.
You had an arsenal, fair enough.
How did she react to losing custody?
Obviously not well.
Like anybody else? Yeah.
I mean, she's never not had the kid.
She blame you?
Probably.
Do you think you'd get her kids? Help you get her back?
I know there's no getting her back. There hasn't been.
I mean, in your mind, is that a possibility? You thought maybe this...
So his plan was killing both of them, stealing the kids, and then bringing the kids to her? Look, we could be a happy family now.
This would help get her back in your depressed state and stuff. I mean...
It's done. It's been done. There's no getting her back. I've accepted that. That's why I've been...
Look what's on its sleeve. Yeah, I know.
Is it true you hated Josh?
I never even met the man.
I mean, he's a cop, right? Or used
They
to be
then
a cop?
revealed to Tim that they knew he had driven to upstate New York around the time of the murders, but the detectives just wanted the truth about why.
I was originally gonna go see her uncle. See if I could talk to him and get him to talk some sense into her and maybe get her to ride this thing out with me. So where are you gonna go? Well, I've got a family friend that I was gonna go
It's
see.
his uncle.
But 422. Where's that at? That's all the way up in New York.
Tim explains that this was his initial plan in heading up to New York, but tells investigators that he didn't end up seeing Charlene's uncle. Instead, in his depressed state, he claimed to have just drove, slept, and drank during the entirety of his trip.
I mean, I could tell you life is hard, but my version of hard and your version of hard is two different things. I can't say my life's been that hard, but goodness, I can't sympathize with you.
If you think I'm gonna sit here and say that I did that, you're crazy.
I think you're crazy if you don't, quite honestly.
Tim, it's not a question if you did it.
It's a question of why, and are you sorry?
Yeah,
You
I'm
think these,
really sorry.
5 different detectives from New York drove down here for no
I'm
reason?
really
No
sorry.
idea why the FBI's here.
What happens when you drive to commit a crime?
I didn't drive to commit a crime.
You're not a monster, man. You have up, there's no doubt about it. But there can be redemption in life, man. There really can.
Nope, not after you kill 2 people. Ain't no way. I know he's playing the good cop, but shit, man. If you kill anyone, no. There's no redemption arc for that. Unless you're doing it in like self-defense or something. But ain't no redemption arc for a bro killing 2 people in front of a 4-year-old
What
child.
you're showing me right now is it
You're a good person.
and not only that, you were a good cop at sometimes, right?
Oh, they're
I
being
mean,
nice
we all
to
screw up in
him
life.
because he's a
There's
cop.
a path to redemption and everything else, Tim. Are you sorry Amber and Josh got killed? Do you hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
Are you sorry they got killed? I'm not saying you killed them. Are you sorry they got killed?
They got killed.
Can you say their names?
Josh and Amber.
Say, I'm sorry Josh and Amber got killed. Not that
I
you did it.
just said that.
No, you didn't. You're saying it in parts. You can't even, I'm not, because you can't.
Damn, like, are they gonna make out? What is happening? Holy shit. They're both just like, all right, okay, say it one more time. Say it one more time. Say one more time. Come on, say it one more time to my face. Look deep into my eyes. Yeah, it's starting to get kinky up in here.
You realize you're talking about being in sodas and everything. I mean, that's no doubt. You're saying that, but you didn't do it. Who's going to believe that?
I didn't do it. They took my chances, I guess.
I've never been in the presence of a bigger coward.
Unfortunately for the investigators, Tim would not confess and continued to proclaim his innocence. However, this wasn't the only person in Texas that the police wanted to talk to.
Like, get your knee out from between his legs, dude. Maybe that's a tactic. Like, he's putting his knee right up to his sack. Like, honestly, his sack is probably like just, gently set on top of his knee. Just so he could be like, you know what I can do right now, right? Like, just say you fucking did it, all right? You understand? Like, all it takes is a little push. It's a little thrust. All right? Tell me now. You want the
This is
cuffs,
Braun
don't you?
Bolar. Braun had served 11 years as a Texas cop, most recently at the Sunray Police Department after Tim had lost his job. The two were actually close friends, and when Tim wanted to drive to New York but was stuck at work, Braun picked up the rental himself and put it under his name. Following Tim's interrogation, they called Braun for his own interview.
You like police work?
Yes. Done it for 7 years.
They dove headfirst into the questions about Tim. They first asked why Braun had helped him with the rental.
His credit cards are maxed out.
Another
and
cartoon
he's 2 months
name,
behind. Yeah, he told me, hey, I need a vehicle for the weekend. Well, okay, not a problem.
Did you question what he's doing up in Kansas?
At first, no, because I thought he just had to go up there for a Frito-Lay, I was like, okay. I took it at face value. And I was like, okay, hey, are you okay? That's the main thing. He goes, yeah, I'm good. but the car's pretty effed up, excuse my language. And I was like, okay, you know, we
He literally said effed up, and he said, excuse my language.
got insurance, we get it fixed.
Dean never
That's like saying frick and saying, oh, sorry about that. Excuse my language.
mentioned that he was going to go on a road trip, that he was going to go to New York, he was going to go anywhere. He was just going to use that car,
Christian man
or
right
rental
there.
car, locally.
Yes, sir.
So if I were to ask you, are you lying about knowing that Dean was taking that rental car to New York? What would you say?
I'd say no.
Okay. That's the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Braun said that he felt a lot of sympathy for Tim and trusted him enough to help him out with the rental without questioning his intentions. That was until the phone call came in about Tim wrecking the rental car up in Kansas. The investigators then asked Braun if he would be willing to take a polygraph test.
Are they
to
going to
which
get
he
close to him?
agreed. Cooperative as he was, Braun failed the polygraph miserably, and more questioning followed.
You failed that question, okay?
Braun has a decision to make, whether he wants to be a good witness or he wants to be charged in conspiracy to commit 2 murders.
You definitely don't want that.
Wait, so he knew what he was going to do and he helped him? What the fuck, man? What is wrong with these people?
So you're saying you overheard Dean say, what?
Ever's gonna die.
Ever's going to die?
Mm-hmm. He's going up there to kill him.
He said he was going to go up there to kill him.
Yes, sir.
So the plan was laid in then, that you rent the car,
And you just let him? Dude, what the fuck?
not in his name, so he wouldn't get caught. I'm down. You're a very important witness, bro. I'll walk you out here.
Braun was allowed to go home following this interview.
What a piece
However,
of
the
shit.
police chief for Sunray PD, his own workplace, followed him home to keep an eye on him while they obtained an arrest warrant. Once the warrant was ready, Braun was immediately detained.
Good.
Law enforcement now had the alleged shooter and his accomplice detained. However, this investigation wasn't over. Detectives decided to backtrack to the one and only Charlene. While she definitely wasn't the shooter, and wasn't in New York at the time of the murders, they wanted to know whether she was involved at all. A big reason for the lingering suspicion surrounding her was during one of her phone calls with the police early on in the investigation. She stated that she learned of Josh's death through a Facebook post. The post didn't reveal the names of the victims, but Charlene knew it was Josh and Amber since a photo revealed the address and street name of the crime scene. However, this was a lie. There was no photo of Josh's house shared to the public, so it was impossible for Charlene to have found out this way. Another big reason was that while Tim's rental car was under Braun's name, Braun had told investigators that Charlene was actually the one who had driven him to the rental agency. Just 8 days after the murders, the police located Charlene at an ex-boyfriend's house and asked her to come down to the station for questioning. They started off by asking her again how she found out, to which Charlene explained the Facebook story and calling Josh's mother afterwards.
So I called his mom, and she's like, Charlene, yes, what's going on? Josh is dead. I hit the floor.
Really?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, it still feels like a horrible bad dream.
Right.
Yeah, when I'm talking about someone who I was with for a long time dying, my response is oh yeah, I hit the floor. It was crazy. Like, what's going on, man? Like, they're dead. What the? Whoa, what's going on?
How? Who? Why? That's what I want to know.
They then asked Charlene if Tim had any hatred towards Josh, or if there was any reason why Tim would want Josh dead.
Tim knew the stuff that Josh had done to me.
That's crazy, man.
Josh
What?
used to beat the hell out of me.
Whoa.
But
Unnecessary.
You know, Tim had never really spoke too bad about him. You know, it was more of, you know, if I could ever get into a fight with him, I would fight him.
Do you think Tim's capable of shooting somebody?
I mean, he used to be a cop.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
Like, unless it was like on the job protecting his life.
Right, yeah.
I can't see it. He's not that type of person.
No. Did you take
I mean, I feel like you don't sign up to be a cop unless you're prepared to shoot someone. So that's just a fat lie.
somebody to go rent a vehicle?
I took a friend to go rent a vehicle.
Who's that?
Braun, well, I can't say his last name.
Braun?
Braun.
Isn't that kind of unusual? That I mean,
I just keep people's privacy. I mean, we talked, but we didn't talk about that.
Did you help him?
I drove up there.
Depends on what type of officer. Well, obviously the ones that like go out and do stuff, not like, you know, the office officers. Office officers? Office officers? Officers?
Took him to the rental car.
Can tell you where he's going.
Office officers?
Nope. I don't ask questions. I don't care. Honestly, I assumed it was for work because he works for Frito-Lay now.
Okay.
So he travels all the damn time. I got there around Saturday night, I think.
Okay. How long's that?
So 5 hours for me.
Holy cow. You had to
He filled up my gas tank, so I didn't care.
Cut your ass you to fill up your gas tank.
Yeah. So that was like last resort. I was like, ask anybody else that you can because I don't feel like coming up there afterwards. I don't feel like doing for you. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're stranded, I'm not going to just be that kind of person that's like, you know what, you know.
No, I understand. Absolutely.
Honestly,
No, that's...
And it comes around.
Did you have anything to do with Tim?
Dude, I love it because she's just throwing him under the bus so hard right now, even though she probably helped him do it. Did you have anything to do with Tim shooting and Josh and Amber?
No.
Did you put Tim up to it?
No.
As you can see, Charlene is beginning to crack under the pressure. She would eventually go on to confess to her involvement in the murders. She explained to the detectives that after losing custody of her children in August, she had a conversation with Tim saying that Josh had to go, to which Tim agreed.
You know, God, I wish he would just die in a ditch somewhere because every time I turn around, he's always bad-mouthing, saying how I'm poor, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm done. I'm to my point. Me and Tim talked about it. You know, yeah. Okay?
What the fuck?
I wanted just everything to go back to how it was, where I had my kids.
So your response to attempting to get your kids back is killing someone in front of your child? Wow. Great
For
parenting.
the school year, he had them for the summer and every other Christmas. I just wanted it to go back to normal.
I need to know what you know about the gun.
Black. I don't know what caliber. I know it used to belong to the Sunrise Police Department. Because that's one gun that he told me that he'd never give back to us.
Leading up to the murders, Tim, Charlene, and Braun would have meetings in Tim's garage where they came up with the plan to kill Josh. Charlene would drop off
It was like a fully, okay, shit. I didn't know it was a full thing there. I thought it was just, Tim was just like, you know, one day he's like, you know, I'm going to go kill him. They're like, okay, we'll help.
Braun at the rental agency, who would drive the rental to Tim. Tim would then drive to New York to murder Josh. Plain and simple. Apparently, Amber was never supposed to be killed, according to their plan. When Tim had wrecked the rental, Charlene drove all the way to meet him at the Motel 6 and drop him off at the airport to get a new rental car and resume the plan. On November 5th, 2018, Charlene and Tim were charged for the murders of Josh and Amber.
Good.
After announcing charges against Dean and Childers, Wayne County Sheriff Barry Vert said it is an assumption one could make that this double homicide was over a child custody battle, with Dean pulling the trigger.
Now, Dean was charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree murder. He's currently in Texas, but he is expected to be moved up here to face those charges. Childers is charged with conspiracy, among other charges, and is now being held in the Wayne County Jail.
Charlene ended up pleading guilty to her charges and testifying against Tim as part of a deal she had made with the prosecutor.
She says the plan included stealing a gun from the Sunrise Police Department in Texas, where Dean served as a police chief. Prosecutors say Dean then traveled back to New York State to commit the murders. When asked about Niles' death...
you drove all the way from Texas to New York. You had that much time to, like, realize what you're doing is stupid. Man, these people are just so...
And the custody battle, Childers testified, quote, "I got what I wanted."
The jury has found Timothy D.
I got what I wanted. Wait.
Niles' death and the custody battle, Childers testified, quote, "I got what I wanted."
The jury has found Timothy Dean, the Texas police chief charged in the double murder in Sodas, guilty of 2 counts of murder.
The man who killed 2 people in Wayne County last year will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Good.
The judge told Timothy Dean he will die there.
Mr. Dean, you are certainly a classic psychopath. You've never shown one bit of emotion in this courtroom, not once of guilt or remorse. I really wonder what goes on in your head. If you have any sense of a conscience, you have to be haunted by what you've done.
The mother of Joshua Niles spoke emotionally to Bron Bolar in court, saying he had enough time to stop the suspects from committing the murder.
You had plenty of time.
Plenty of time. They
You
all
were a
did.
police officer. You were supposed to protect and serve.
Amber Washburn's parents also stood in front of Bolar but were too emotional to address him. The prosecutor read a letter on their behalf.
You destroyed several people's lives. Gabriella Niles, Bentley Niles, and Joshua Niles Jr. all lost their father. And Joshua Jr. also lost his mother as well.
Bolar was charged and pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder after investigators say he helped Timothy Dean rent a car which he used to drive from Texas to Sodas to kill the couple.
Charlene Childers got 28 years in prison for her part in the murder of her children's father and his
Honestly,
girlfriend.
That's surprising. I did not expect that. I expected like the accomplices to just get like 15,
David Childers,
10.
I've had a lot of murder trials, and every murder is senseless and tragic, but it has to be the most senseless and tragic murder I've ever handled.
When all was said and done, Bron Bolar spent 1 year and 4 months in prison before being released.
Huh? 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 Wait. 1 year. Bro got 1 year.
Timothy Dean was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and Charlene Childers was sentenced to 28 years in prison.
1 year. 1 year. Really? Really? 1 year? That's all? That's all you got? Okay. Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.